been sitting here for about, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes trying to decide if I was going to do a show or not. I was just leaning back in the chair and I'm like, oh my goodness, do I feel like doing this damn thing? This thing is so much work. I don't know if anybody listens to it. I don't know if anybody cares. So yeah, I'm laying back just saying, should I do a show? I didn't do one yesterday. This is Wednesday morning that you're listening to this. I'm supposed to release every Tuesday and Friday. I didn't do that either of those days last week. I didn't even recycle an episode last week. So, I don't know, man. I just get frustrated sometimes, and I think we all do, no matter what we're doing, right? Any job that we have, any profession, whether you could be a student, you could just have a job, you could be in retail, you could be a lawyer, whatever. We all, man, I turned this AC down so it wouldn't cut on during the show, or I turned it down, yeah, up, down. But yeah, we could be any of those professions, right? And sometimes we just don't want to do our job, no matter how much we like it, no matter how much we strive to get to that position and get into that job or get into that profession or whatever. Sometimes we just do not want to do it. And this is one of those times. It's been one of those times for about the last couple weeks. And I just have not felt like getting on this microphone and doing a show. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why my mood has changed. But, that's just a part of life, guys, right? You will not always have the same desires. You will not always have the same drive. You will not always have the same love, I guess, for things that you do. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't like doing this. I'm just saying it's a lot of work. I don't get paid for it. I don't have any advertisers. I'm not making any money off this podcast whatsoever. I do it just for fun. I like to do it. I like to talk. I like to give people information. I like to inspire people, encourage people. I like to talk about ways that we can improve ourselves and our species, and of course, I like to talk a little bit about beer. Let's do that real quick. We're kind of getting deep in the weeds. We're getting a little philosophical. Let's calm down here. Let's just relax, okay? We're going to pull this out. Let me pull up my internet, and we will get on to Untapped, and I'll tell you a little bit about it. How do we even get started? I don't even know how we started. Oh, I was just starting, just laid back. I just don't feel like doing this thing. I really don't. But sometimes you have to do the things that you do not want to do. I don't know. Do you really? I said sometimes. I didn't say all the time. I didn't say most of the time. Sometimes you have to do the things that you don't want to do. Is that correct? I don't think it is. I mean, we all have a choice. We all can do whatever the hell we want to do, depending on where you're listening to this. If we're in America, supposedly we have the freedom to do whatever we want to do. So I suppose that is the case. I don't even know what I was talking about, guys. I lost my train of thought there. So let's see if I can get on to Untapped. And we'll talk about this beer I'm going to open, and then we'll go into a couple topics, and we will get this thing under wraps. I got a gumbo going downstairs right now, guys, while I'm waiting on Untapped to pull up. Come on, man. Yeah. Log in, buddy. Sign in. There we go. I went to the store, went to Lowe's tonight, and had a Phantasmagoria. What was the name of that beer? I'll tell you. I'll look it up. I'll look that up on top of the beer that we're going to drink. So we got Untapped. So I believe it was by Prairie, maybe. There we go. Yeah, Prairie Artisan Ales, Phantasmagoria. So I went to Lowe's Foods. I was going to go shopping to make my gumbo. I'm all over the place, and I'm having trouble bringing it back into the center and focusing on what I was talking about. But I went to Lowe's, and I was going to go up there and get my ingredients, my stuff that I needed to make my keto gumbo. First time I've made it. When I went up there, Rhett was working. He opened that store with me in the Beer Den back in December of 2017, and he's still there. He's the last one of the original crew that joined Lowe's that is still there. So I went up there, and he's usually up there on Tuesday. So I went there to get a drink and to do my shopping for my keto gumbo. While I was there, they had an IPA on tap called Phantasmagoria, which is by Prairie Artisan Ales. Prairie, opening a new tab. Come on. Internet is slow tonight, guys. Prairie Artisan Ales is out of Krebs, Oklahoma. It's a microbrewery up there. Welcome to the world of Prairie Artisan Ales, a company started by two brothers. We didn't start it due to a lack of good beer or whatever people like to say in this part of their website. We wanted to do something that was awesome. We have the talent and, most importantly, the years of experience needed to get it done. So we did it. We have funded the company on our own and only want to work with people that care about beer, super good beer. Our goal is to show people what is possible when you start with step one. Prairie. So Phantasmagoria had that today. I gave it a 4.25, I believe. No. Yep, 4.25. So it's a good beer. So I had that, and then I went around and did some shopping, and then I came back to the counter to get me a second beer. My second beer was the Event Horizon Spectrum, is that what they're called? Spectrum Series. I think it was Spectrum Series 10. No, hold on just a second. Hold on just a second. I don't know what I'm doing here, guys. Here we go. Recent activity for myself. You know, I'm not afraid of dead air. Hey, and guess what? I got my headphones back on. If you remember, last time I recorded, my headphones, my 9-volt battery was out. I got 2-pack. So I got one that I just put in the headphone amplifier, and this one is going to go in the smoke detector. That way I will survive a fire, hopefully. Where is my activity? Total Brian right there. Spectrum 10. It's a Spectrum 10 is from Old Hickory Brewing Company up in Hickory, North Carolina. It's a American Imperial Stout. The ABV on it is 10.58. So this is after I shopped. I had my first beer. I shopped for the stuff that I needed for the gumbo. Came back, got my second beer. This is Old Hickory Brewing Company Event Horizon Spectrum 10. And this is aged in gin barrels. Imperial Stout brewed with honey, aged in gin barrels. So pretty damn delicious. Had that. Then I came home and threw all my ingredients into the pot for some gumbo. And maybe I'll put that up on with the post. I'll put the video picture up there, and then I'll slide over, or you can slide over and you can see the ingredients for the gumbo. It's keto friendly. It uses xanthan gum. Is that what it was? Excuse me. It uses xanthan gum, I think. Is that what it's called? Xanthan. Yeah, xanthan gum. That's the thickener. Normally, I guess you have a roux in a gumbo, in a traditional gumbo that kind of thickens that pot. and that adds some sugars and some carbohydrates. So we took that out, add the xanthan gum in there, and then instead of dipping that gumbo out over white rice, we're going to use cauliflower rice. So it's going to be delicious tomorrow. I'm going to let it sit overnight in the slow cooker. So it's going to cook for about 9 to 10 hours. And then I'm going to throw the wild-caught shrimp in there to finish it off. And it's going to be pretty damn good, I think. I think it's going to be good. Oh, so here's what we're drinking. Let me type this in. This is... There it is. All right. So this is called Not an IPA by Appalachian Mountain Brewery Company, which is out of Boone, North Carolina. By the way, they just got bought by a small subsidiary of InBev. So congrats to those guys. And Not an IPA is an American IPA. It is 6.7% ABV, alcohol by volume, and it has 70 IBUs. Average rating 3.88. Ooh, right to the top. This is my Ville de Ville glass, craft relay glass that I had from last year when we did a relay from Asheville, North Carolina to Greenville, South Carolina. So A and B, you can see right there. Like I said, out of Boone, North Carolina. Fantastic spot. I've never had this one. I've had all their beer. I have not had this one. It's a new one in distribution. It's called Not an IPA. On the bottom there, it says P.S. It's an IPA. So I think that's pretty funny. That's pretty clever. So let's taste this bad boy and see what's going on with it. Oh my goodness. My goodness. That could quite possibly be one of the best beers I've had from these guys. And they make fantastic beer. Everything I've had from them, I've enjoyed. I go up there many times. Mostly when it's ski season, I'll go up and do some skiing at Beach Mountain and then hit up Appalachian Mountain Brewery. And I haven't really had a bad thing from them. They do a fantastic job on the entire spectrum of beers, whether it be a wheat, whether it be a Berliner Weiss, whether it be an IPA, a pale, a lager, a blonde. They've made reds, browns, stouts, porters, barrel-aged stuff. They've run the whole gamut of styles of beers, and I do not believe I've had a bad one. Now, there's some that weren't fantastic, absolutely. But everything I've had has been at least middle of the road or better, and the majority have been, I'd say, in between a 3.75 and a 4 as an average. So give those guys a look if you're up there in Boone, North Carolina. It's a fantastic spot all year round, and you won't be disappointed with their beer or their pizza. So a little plug for those guys. I like them. And when I saw they had a new beer out today, I was like, man, that's what I'm drinking tonight. That's what I got to have. It's definitely more of a classic West Coast style IPA. They did not go the route of the hazy New England style, which I'm super happy about because I'm so tired of that damn style. Every time I flip through my Instagram or whatever and I look at all these beer pictures and I see all these hazy orange juice looking beers, I'm just like, oh my God, let's get over this craze. It's done. But it was a good niche because it filled kind of a void in between, I think, the lager pilsner to the IPA. I think it filled the gap in between those two. It took that IPA and it even though it has more hops in the beer itself, it took out those bittering, that bittering aspect of it, and really toned it down. And you filled a niche in between where people that were like, oh, I really like super light beer and I don't like bitterness, or people on the other scale, I like bitterness but not too much, whatever. This filled that void where people had a beer that they could drink. It was sessionable. Well, not always sessionable. I mean, some of them were pretty high alcohol content, but most of them were pretty sessionable, drinkable, juicy, hazy, low bitterness. like you were drinking a fruit drink, and you almost felt like you were doing something healthy for your body, which I guess you kind of are. But so, anyways, what I'm saying is this is classic kind of West Coast style, and I prefer that. I always have. I jumped on the hazy bandwagon for a little while, but I'm over it. It's done. We kind of started off with some basic styles that everybody did, and then it kind of expanded just a little bit, and then all of a sudden it went bam, and it just opened up, and there was so many flavors and so many adjuncts and so many different styles and variations on styles and whatever, and it just got to this gigantic thing that is just out of control now. To me, I don't know. And I know they're trying to appease to everybody, and they're trying to push the limits and see what they can do, and that's fantastic. I think that's what we should do in every endeavor. But for me, I just want to go back to simple, and I don't want to sit there and have to try and pick over 50 things when I go out. I just want to, do I want this IPA? Do I want this stout? Do I want this red? Do I want this brown? This porter? This wheat beer? Let's dial it back in a little bit, guys. This is all I'm saying. I'm kind of done with the variety. Just let me find some stuff that I like and I enjoy, and I'll just continue to partake in that. So, anyway, A and B. I don't even know what I was going to talk about tonight. Well, yeah, not super exciting, but last week at Homegrown Brew House, I guess it's exciting, was the 6th year anniversary on March 30th. We had a pretty big showing Friday and Saturday. We had Pickle from Gray's. He came in and did a special menu for us for Friday and Saturday, and that was fantastic and very well received. Always is when either of those guys, Jonathan or Mike, come in to do a pop-up menu. It's always pretty good, and did well both nights. We had a good response. People came in, they were congratulating us, thanking us for the 6th year anniversary, and everybody just had a good time, I think, and that's all I got to say about it, really. 6th anniversary, we did a lot of business. People were still coming in, and I think more than ever, so it's been a good venture so far between Caleb and I think things are just going to continue to improve. So that's fantastic, and I'm loving it. And this weekend, oh my goodness, we got, I don't even want to talk about it, to be honest. We had the Flower Town Festival coming up. Starts on Thursday, goes through Sunday. I'm not even sure. I want to say there's like an extra 8,000 people that come into town for this thing, for this festival. And then on top of that, you have the bridge run down in Charleston, running the old Cooper River Bridge, or it's not the old Cooper River Bridge, I'm sorry, it's now the Ravenel Bridge. But it's called the Cooper River Bridge Run. It used to be the Cooper River Bridge that went across there, and they demoed that, 2005 maybe, don't quote me on that. Put up a new bridge called the Arthur Ravenel Bridge, named after Arthur Ravenel. Why am I yelling? So that's going on, and that thing has 45 or 50,000 participants per year. So I don't know how many of those are from out of town, but I'd probably say 10,000. So now he's got 18,000 people around the low country, and that's just off the top of my head. Don't quote me on that. It's going to be a busy weekend is all I got to say. I'm working Thursday night. Thursday night we're going to have Fleming Moore, Shady and Shifty. So that's Tanner and Fleming. They're going to be in there rocking the house, kicking off the festivities for us on Thursday afternoon. Then Friday we're going to have Ron Daniel in there. He's going to rock the house and support us for Friday. Saturday, we're going to have Paul Stone of the Paul Stone Project in there, Paul Pietrofesso. Saw him tonight at Lowe's, as a matter of fact. We had a good chat. Always good to see him. And he's going to be in there rocking the house on Saturday. The Flower Town Nights is what he's calling that event. And then on Sunday, we're going to have Ben Somewhere in there. He's from the what is his other band called? The Side Pocket? No, Side Project. The Side Hustle. It's called the Side Hustle. So Ben Somewhere is going to be out there on Sunday. He's a member of the Side Hustle. I got something on my tongue. He's a member of the Side Hustle, and he's going to come in and play some tunes. He might bring somebody or a couple people with him on Sunday. So, man, hell of a week this week. We're going to have live music Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday there at Homegrown Brew House. And we got the Flower Town Festival. We got Jonathan coming back, nicknamed Pickle. He'll be back in the house doing a special menu for us all weekend as well. Good Lord, it's going to be out of control. It's going to be, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not really looking forward to it, guys. If I'm telling you the truth, which I always do, I'm not looking forward to it. All right, so we had anniversary weekend. We talked about Flower Town, Flemington, blah, blah, blah. The bridge run. I guess we can do that. I don't know. I put up a post yesterday on Facebook. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. But, yesterday was, what's today? Well, right now it's the 3rd that you're listening to this. Recording it started on the 2nd. But anyway, the day before then was April 1st. So I put a post out there. If this internet will catch up with me. There we go. It's gone. I put a post out there. Thing is slow going here, guys. Sorry, apologize. Everybody just relax. Just calm down. Take a deep breath. Here we go. So I said, well, the move to Flagstaff is finally happening. Offer on the house was accepted, and I should close on the 22nd and be on the road with the dog on the 25th! Exclamation point. So that was my April Fool's joke. The very first comment was from my mother. What? All caps. So I got him. It's a good April Fool's joke. I liked it. Also on April Fool's, and this was not a joke, I had a colonoscopy. I don't know if any of you have had one. I've had multiple because I have part of my disability through the VA is some intestinal problems that I've had for decades now, I guess. So I get treated for that. So, you shouldn't start having a colonoscopy until probably about my age. I guess I'm 46, maybe 50s, 40s. I don't know what the age is, but I've been having them for quite a while because of the history that I have and a little bit of a history of some other things. So, yeah. So anyway, I had that on Monday. That's always fun. Went through the prep on Sunday. So the paperwork said, don't eat anything or drink anything do not eat anything, fast for the day prior to your procedure. So my procedure was on Monday, April 1st at 12:45. Excuse me. I started fasting the day prior at 5:30 in the morning. So by the time I get into the procedure, that's 31 hours of fasting. Now, the entire time I fasted, I had one 16-ounce green tea, and the rest of the day I had nothing but clear water. That's it. Now, the sheet that I was given said that I could have soda, which I thought was weird. It said I could have Gatorade as long as it wasn't purple or red. It said I could have popsicles, I think, as long as it wasn't purple or red. I could have Jell-O as long as it wasn't purple or red. I could have fruit juice as long as there was no pulp. I could have tea. I could have black coffee. I could have water. And I could have chicken broth. I think that was all the stuff that was on there. So all I did was a 16-ounce green tea, and I did a ton of water, shit ton of water, which will come into play in a minute. Oh, my goodness. So I'm already 7 hours over what a standard, day before 24-hour fast would be. I only had clear liquids and a little bit of green tea. I did my super prep, or whatever it's called. I can't remember the official name of it, but it's a prescription they prescribe you. You go pick it up at the pharmacy, and it's something that cleanses you out. It's like an X-Lax or a Metamucil, not Metamucil, X-Lax. What are some of the other things? Magnesium citrate, Ducalax, whatever all these things are, that are laxatives. So it's a prescription laxative that you get. You have to take one of these little medicine vials. You pour it into this cup that's provided for you. You fill the rest of it up with water until you get to 16 ounces. So you got 16 ounces of solution that you got to drink. You start that at 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. the day prior to your procedure. So I did that, started that at 6:30 actually. I started at 5:45. So I drank the solution, and then it says make sure to drink 2 16-ounce glasses of water within the next hour of taking that. So I had the 16 ounces of solution, and then I had 2 more 16 ounces of water. 45 minutes go by, and the floodgates open. Let's just say that. Floodgates open, things are flowing, which is what's supposed to happen. That's what's you're supposed to clean yourself out. So that happens, and then that goes on every 15 minutes for the next 2 hours. Because 2 hours later, you have to take the second portion of this. So every 15 minutes, I'm trying to watch a TV series on Netflix. The hell was it? No, it was on Showtime, as a matter of fact. It was called Happy. No, it was called Kidding. God. It was, it's a new show with Ace Ventura. Oh, what's his name? What the hell is his name? In Living Color, Ace Ventura, Cable Guy. I know everybody out there is yelling it at me right now. Jim Carrey. It's a new series with Jim Carrey on Showtime called Kidding. He plays kind of a character kind of similar to like Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, that was on PBS for many, many years, decades. It's kind of a character similar to that. And you get a behind-the-scenes look at his life versus what you see on the TV. I think it was a TV series that was on the show for 30 years, I think, as well. So I was watching that, and every 15 minutes, at least, at a minimum, I had to get up and go to the bathroom. Second dose comes around, I can barely stomach the second dose. It's just so nasty. I just don't like it at all. I got through, let's say, 3/4 of the second dose, maybe a tad bit more than that. And then I took my 16 ounces of water, 2 doses of that afterwards. I was in the bathroom from 6:30 p.m. that night, that Sunday, this past Sunday, until midnight. How many hours is that, guys? 5.5? 5.5 hours on the toilet every 15 minutes. Peeing out of my ass every 15 minutes. It was not a fun night whatsoever. But here's the moral of the story. Here's what I'm trying to get to. I get done with the colonoscopy. They hand me my report, tells me what, they found. Okay, blah, 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 we did this. This was going on. And then, number 3, it said poor prep. Poor prep. Meaning that I did not prep properly, that my prepping was poor, that my prepping was not sufficient, that I didn't do the prep that I was supposed to do. I did exactly what I was supposed to do. Now you're going to say you left this much liquid in the fucking thing. Yeah, I did. But that's because What was irrigating? What's the term of this? It was leaving, something's leaving your body. What was leaving my body was clear liquid. Do you think I need any more cleansing? I was done. I was cleansed. I did, 24. I did 7 more hours of fasting than it even called for. I don't even think it even calls for 24 hours, but I did 7 more hours than what it called for. I didn't do any of those fruit juices or Gatorades or sodas or any of that other stuff. I did pure, clear water, and I drank 16 ounces of green tea. Poor prep. Fuck those guys, man. What do they even know? They didn't even ask me how I prepped. They didn't even. What do they have to compare that to? What is the benchmark of good prep? Let me know that. Let me know where I stand on the scale, at least. Give me something to go by. Don't just give me a report that says poor prep. Oh, my goodness. I don't know why I'm so upset about that, but I'm just so used to everything I do. I'm so used to getting a good grade or, a step promotion or an award or a medal or top graduate or whatever. For me to go in there and for them to tell me I got poor prep. I mean, ever since middle school and high school, when I just did the bare minimum and got C's and D's, and I joined the military, I've always excelled in everything that I do. And I thought that I excelled in this prep. And for them to tell me poor prep, man. Oh, my goodness. I was so bent out of shape about that yesterday. And I guess I still am. I'm still talking about it. I even wrote it down. That's how much shit bothered me. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Well, that's all I'm going to talk about. Here's the gist of what I wanted to say. It's Flower Town weekend. It's the Bridge Run weekend. Coming up Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're opening Homegrown Brew House. Get over there, enjoy the menu provided by Jonathan of Grays of Somerville. And he doesn't even like to be called by that, but that's what he is. He's with them, with those guys, but he's doing his own thing. He's trying to start his own business. We're going to have Fleming Moore on Thursday night from 8 to 10. We're going to have Ron Daniel from 8 to 10 on Friday. We're going to have Paul Stone and the Project on Saturday from 8 to 10. And then on Sunday, we're going to have Ben somewhere in there doing his thing from 1 to 3. So this is it, man. Get out. Enjoy the weekend. It's the Azalea Festival, Flower Town. Plenty of vendors out there. Support local. Support Somerville. Get out there and do the bridge run if you're going to do that. Good luck to all the runners out there. And that's about it. I got the Fistful of Podcast guy coming in tomorrow night, Dale. He's going to come into the studio tomorrow night. His episode will be out on Friday, so listen for that, or look out for that. Be on the lookout for that. All those good things. All right, guys. Well, I am going to call it a night. I'm going to edit this and get it out there. And I will talk to you soon, guys. Talk to you soon.